Well, thanks for joining me today, Lauren. I'm so happy we get to do this duet together.
Yeah, I'm super flattered, and it's been really awesome working with you on this.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You were saying one of the first places we met was on a Davina gig back in the day.
I moved to town in 2008, and a bunch of people, upon finding out that I went to North Texas, were like, you need to go see Scott Agster play, because we just missed each other at college. And I also had some friends that were doing the swing dance scene, so I came to a Davina gig with them, and you were
Okay.
playing trombone, so I just caught you after the set and said hello.
I remember us. You had come and sit in with Jack Brass. I think this must have been quite a bit later.
This was a little bit later, and that was at Ice House. I do remember where that was. Yeah.
So the two of us have the University of North Texas in common. And, I just did a duet with Tom Ashworth. And we talked a little bit about Tony Baker. And this got me thinking, I studied with Tony Baker and Jan Kagaris, and I think she was one of your primary teachers.
Yeah. Jan was my main teacher for the 2 years I did my master's degree at North Texas. I honestly don't think I would be still playing and performing, especially at the level that I do, if I hadn't studied with her. She was such a tremendous influence and remains a tremendous influence, both on the way I play and the way I teach. So.
Do you have a story about Jan that kind of sums up your experience with her?
Before I'd even auditioned, I went up to just meet her and play for her, and I don't think I even got 3 bars into an etude before she just swept everything away, and we started talking about the natural learning process and thinking about the actual physics of how brass instruments work. She had me hobbling up and down the hallways outside her office, pretending that I was trying to control every muscle in my left leg so she could show just how subconscious our playing and our muscle memory has to be. And I look back on that and laugh, because everyone had told me, like, oh, she's going to make you do this thing where you just have to, like, limp up and down in front of her office. And but I was hooked from the very beginning. I just loved the way she interacted with her students and how enthusiastic she was. And she also demanded a lot, which I really needed at the time.
Okay, so for the title of the tune, The Queen to Be, actually, I have to make a confession. This is one of the first titles that I've come up with that, I put it in French, and it was like the modern traditionalist, and the connotations of the name weren't right, and I was having trouble pronouncing it, so I reached out to you to help me with the title of the duet, and we came up with The Queen to Be. So what made you come up with the title of that tune?
Well, I play on a King 2B. It's such a great horn in the sense that I can take it out of the case, even if I haven't played it in a long time, and just feel like it sounds great and it's easy to play. It's a super versatile jazz horn. I've played it on just about every kind of jazz I've ever done. So I was thinking about that, and also the fact that I really try to be an advocate and an example for other female brass players, especially in this town. And it just felt like sort of assuming a title in a sense. It felt pretty good to be like, all right, I'll be the queen to be, so.
Nice. That's great. Okay. So Lauren, one of the first groups that I was able to play with you in was Jack Brass Band, which is a group I've been playing with for, I think, going on about 14 years now. And, we play traditional jazz music as well as contemporary New Orleans music. And that was one of the first opportunities I got to hear you play. Also, I like to ask my feature artists what style of music they'd like me to write the duet in. And you picked trad jazz. So why trad jazz?
I think for me, as a baby jazz player, as I was back in the day, trad jazz was the first opportunity for me to really feel comfortable, especially improvising. It's in no way simplistic as a musical style, but it's not as complex as some other jazz forms, and you can really sort of do what you feel. You could play the tune with some ornamentation, or you can take a solo way out, So it lets you experiment in different ways, and I think that felt just really comfortable for me. I also really cut my teeth improvising in the trad jazz style in a group called Mill City 5. And the people in that group were just super chill, and we got to play whatever we wanted, and it helped me feel relaxed and all that. And I'd played jazz before that in different settings, but it was the first time I really felt like I had control over the form. So I think I chose it because it just holds such a near and dear place to me as the place where I started.
All right. Well, traditional jazz. That's great. So you're playing in some different styles of music around town besides just trad jazz. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the other groups you're involved with?
Yeah, I actually am not involved in any trad jazz right now, although I'd love to be. But I've ended up playing in some very different groups that really are exciting to me. I play in a group called Brass Lassie, which is a 9-piece Scottish-Irish big band, we call it. Takes traditional music from that genre, and we put a horn section to it. Our arrangements mostly come from the awesome Peter Emblem. And then I play bass trombone in Adam Meckler's orchestra, which I love doing.
So I have a question real quick. So Brooklyn Audette also plays with Brass Lassie,
she sure
doesn't
does.
she?
That's how I met her, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She was in my Jazz 3 at the U back when I was a TA there at the University of Minnesota. Awesome. And so I've known Brooke a long time. She's going to be on one of the upcoming duets.
I'm really excited to hear that one. Yeah.
Well, what other bands are you with?
So I play bass trombone in the Adam Meckler Orchestra. I've been playing in that group for about 2 years. Yeah. And I really hope we have some gigs coming up. I know he just left town, but fingers crossed he'll be back to do some stuff.
It's a little bittersweet. It's sad. You know, I've played with Adam Meckler quite a bit over the years, and but it's also wonderful for him and his family.
It is
just getting that full-time job up in the UP.
It's awesome, and I'm super happy for them. And I'm also just super grateful to Adam for including me in his work. I'd always wanted to be a part of that band, and I was just very, very flattered that he asked me to take over that bass trombone chair, especially to take Jen Warner's spot, because she was such a powerhouse on the scene. And so I feel very honored to be in that group. Yeah. So I also play with Damian Strange a lot. He's a composer and music advocate and arts advocate in town. He does a lot of experimental stuff. He has formed a group called Temple of the New, NU, instead of NEW. And we're playing a lot of his bigger ensemble stuff where he writes basically what turn out to be like almost ceremonies or ritualistic kind of music that really seeks to bring the audience along in a sonic journey. We just played for a Sun Ra tribute at the Cedar, which was super fun.
What's the instrumentation?
Well, it kind of varies. We'll always have some form of horn section. Usually it's me on trombone and Kate DeVoe on trumpet, and then Erica Orton plays bass clarinet. And we've just added Sugi on tenor sax, so we have another all-girl horn section, which I love. Temple of the New also includes a drum set and then auxiliary percussion, so there's 2 percussionists. And then Damien plays, he'll play like maybe a little saxophone, but he also plays like iwi, and he does all of the electronic stuff. And then Queen Drea is our singer. So it's an awesome group. It's super diverse. It's got a lot of people from different backgrounds, and I think everybody brings something to that group that's really unique.
Yeah. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Well, so you're also a teacher. Do you want to talk a little bit about your teaching in the cities?
Yeah. So I have been growing my teaching presence for the last 6 or 7 years or so. Like I said earlier, I take a lot of what I know and what I teach from Jan Kagereis. Her philosophy of approaching learning in a holistic and natural way is how I seek to teach my students as well. I think we just overteach, especially on brass instruments, and I really just want to get my students making their best sound and feeling like they're not working so hard and that they can actually make the music, because I think so much of what frustrates young learners is feeling like there's too much technical junk to cut through when really they just want to like make music and have fun. Yeah.
Well, what do you say we go play this duet?
I think we should do it.
All right.
Awesome.